Hey, what's up you guys, it's Caboose bringing you another Spider-Man PS4 video, and today what I got for you guys is another update from Game Informer talking about Peter Parker and his role in Spider-Man PS4 and what it's going to be like with the duality of Peter and Spidey in this game. Now, before we jump into this, I wanted to ask you guys, of course, if you could leave a like rating on the video as it shows your support, and I would really appreciate it. So if you could leave a like, that would be awesome. And with that said, well, let's just jump right into this. So, today's Game Informer article is all about Peter Parker in Spider-Man PS4, what he is up to, what's going on in his life, and what the duality is like between him being Spidey and his life as Peter Parker. So going through this article, they mention a lot about the fact that, Peter is going through some struggles. Right now, he is 23. He's been Spidey for 8 years as he was bitten at the age of 15, and he is quite experienced as Spider-Man. When he is Spidey, he's invincible. He knows what he's doing. He's confident. He's dropping quips. He's always, making people laugh or trying to bring some sort of comedy to any situation that he's found himself in. But his life as Peter Parker isn't so smooth. In fact, he is on the verge of being evicted from his apartment. He's not able to pay his rent, and he is struggling as he currently, in this game, is not in a relationship with Mary Jane, and they haven't talked to each other for 6 months until the events of the game take place. Going back on those quips and those one-liners that Spidey's always dropping, they mention here in the article that there is a moment in the game in which you interrupt a bit of a faction war, and Spidey will jump in and say, "Guys, I know how to settle this. Dance off." And that immediately just makes me think of Peter Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy. But that's besides the point. I think this is awesome. Obviously, that this is the personality of Spidey. But more so than this, what was really interesting about them talking about this was the fact that there was those faction wars. So you're going to see probably people like Fistmen or the Inner Demons going at it and fighting. And that's going to make the world feel alive. You're not going to have the same two encounters every single time. There might be encounters where you're not just going up against the Inner Demons, but you're also fighting the men who work for Wilson Fisk, and I think that's really cool. And we got a bit of a glimpse of that in the E3 demo, I think, because I remember it was one of Fisk's men who was being taken down by the Inner Demons, or just Fisk's men in general who were working for him being taken down by the Inner Demons. So yeah, we got a glimpse of that, but it's nice to know this is a legit thing. There are going to be faction wars going on in the city, and Spidey's going to be jumping in and interrupting and dropping those one-liners like he usually would. Overall, this article is basically saying that Insomniac really wants to capture the spirit of Spider-Man, but also of Peter Parker. When you're Spidey, you're confident, you're dropping those quips, you're dropping those one-liners, but when you're Peter Parker, he's stumbling on words, he's nervous, he's shy, it's Peter Parker, he's a geek. So I like that Insomniac is taking this direction because it also plays to the fact that Peter Parker is really trying to keep that secret identity. He doesn't want anybody to know that he's Spider-Man, and well, one way to work that is, he doesn't nearly have the confidence that Spider-Man does. Now, a question that's kind of been on everyone's mind is the length of the story mode. And to be honest, I don't think we're ever really going to get this question answered because the length of a story mode for a game depends on the player. It depends on how many times us players are going to stop by and do a general crime, or we're going to just do side activities and not do the main story for a little bit, or maybe we want to unlock an alternate costume and there's got to be some other stuff that we got to do there. So it's a player-by-player basis. So I don't think we're ever really going to get a definitive answer on how long this game is going to be. But one thing we did get an idea of is how long the course of the game will take place in, and that is within a few weeks in October. It's also said here that a small detail to kind of give us the idea of the passage of time is seeing the character's clothing changing throughout the game. So Peter's obviously not going to wear the same shirt and jeans throughout the entirety of the game. You're going to see him wearing some different clothing, and I'm guessing the same thing is going to apply for some of the other characters like Miles Morales, Aunt May, Mary Jane, and so on. Now, speaking on Miles, they once again reiterated that this is Peter Parker's game. Miles Morales is a part of it, and he does have a role in the story. However, he is not the one wearing the Spidey suit in this game. This game is about Peter. Now, honestly, I am not in the boat of everyone who's so negative to this idea. I would love to see something going on with Miles, maybe becoming Spider-Man. Even if they wanted to save that for DLC, that could be something really cool. But I do understand, this is Peter's story. Let it be about Peter Parker and let it be about him as Spider-Man. We don't want to shoehorn something else in there and then maybe take away from what's going on with Peter Parker. So I understand that. But like I said, it would be really cool if we got some DLC that was centered around Miles Morales. What would be awesome is if we get to play as Miles, as Spider-Man, and maybe we got like Peter Parker on the phone with us or like over the radio with us trying to teach us and like showing us the ropes. That would be something that is super cool. Now, another question that the community had and has been asking Andrew Reiner on Twitter is about a day and night cycle in Spider-Man PS4. And, well, unfortunately, this is something that has been deconfirmed. The way that you can swing and go out in the game and free roam at nighttime is actually tailored to the story mode. So when you're going through the story missions, there might be one where it's night, and then once you're done the mission, you're out into the open world, and it's still nighttime. But if you were to just stand there for like a couple of hours and do nothing in the game, you won't see the daytime transition into night and back to day. And I'm assuming the same is going to go for some of the different weather that we've seen in the game, because there are different glimpses of Spider-Man PS4 that we've seen where there's rain. But again, I think that is going to pertain to the story mode. So when you're going through a mission, if there was rain and if it's nighttime or something, then boom, when you get out of that mission, you're free roaming in that environment. Now, the one thing that I'm hoping for here, though, the silver lining in all this, is that once we beat the game, I hope there is an option where we can kind of like go to Peter's apartment or something, and then when we want to exit, there's an option where it says, do you want to go out into the world in daytime, nighttime, raining, whatever. That's what I'm hoping for, because we've gotten that in previous Spider-Man games, and it makes it pretty cool. I don't want to be just swinging in the daytime all the time. I'm sure that New York City, especially designed by Insomniac here, is going to look incredible during the nighttime. So I'm hoping here that that is going to be an option when we beat the game, because when you're playing through the game, it's all going to kind of be done for you. A little detail here that's mentioned in the article is the fact that the perception of Spider-Man is also going to shift and change as you go through the game's story. It's said here that there are points in the game when you're going to be swinging or walking through the streets of New York, and people are going to want to high-five you or take selfies with you, and they're going to be a big fan of Spider-Man. But there are also going to be specific points in the story in which Spidey is going to be perceived as a menace. Now, I don't know if this is going to be something to do with J. Jonah Jameson's radio show, or if they're going to be actions that take place during the story mode of the game in which Spidey doesn't look so much like a hero, and because of that, the civilians of the city feel that way and don't perceive him as one. But going back on the length of the story mode, John Paquette and Christos Gage also talked about the script and the length of the script for this game, in saying that it's just about the equivalent to a 3,000 plus page novel, which is insane. They said that when it was finalized, they were keeping track of the game's word count, which is supposedly at just about 400,000 words, but the other writers of the game have written about a total of 800,000 words, which is insane. Holy smokes. A 3,000 plus page novel is supposedly the length of this game's script. So if we're going to be taking that information and adding to that as well the fact that the game is going to be taking place over the course of a couple of weeks, let's just say, and I'm spitballing here, that if you just run through the main story mode of the game, I'm hoping at least, we're probably going to get around like 8 to 10 hours of game time, which is like the sweet spot for a single player story for most people who enjoy that kind of experience. And that's what I am coming to expect at this point. There's no way this game is going to be something like 5 hours or less. And then obviously, we're not even factoring in the fact that we're going to be doing all those side activities, general crime, and all the other things this game has to offer outside of just the main story. And that's it for the article that we got today. While there's a lot of information about Peter Parker that we've already known about in this article, it's just reassuring to hear once again how much care that Insomniac is handling with this game. They really, really want to get it right. They don't want to make any mistakes whatsoever, and I have such a huge respect for that. This game is going to be amazing. September 7th cannot get here any quicker. I wish I could just jump into a time machine and show up on September 7th so that I can play this freaking game already. But with that said, I kick it to you guys. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. What do you think, based on the information in this article, the game's story length is going to be? And what do you think about the overall stuff that they're giving here about Peter Parker and what's going on in his life throughout the entirety of Spider-Man PS4? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. I'm Caboose, and once again, if you could leave a like rating on the video, it shows your support, and I would really appreciate it. And you can click on screen to make your way to one of the other videos on the channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.